So in a poker tournament, normally 10 or 15% of the players make the money. And when you're on the edge, when, okay, if one more guy goes out, now we're in the money, that's called the bubble.
The money bubble is always a pivotal part of any tournament.
And this is going to be the biggest bubble of all time.
I had a stretch a few years ago where I bubbled 5 out of 7 super high rollers. And I would just show up to the biggest tournaments and then get near the money and have it not go my way. It definitely was taking a toll on me and made me doubt my confidence. And you have negative thoughts which don't help you in any way, but they're nagging in the back of your mind.
Tilt is when your reality does not equal your expectations, and it's significantly or below your expectations.
It's so easy to just doubt yourself.
This is part of the game. This is actually expected. And so you need to change your expectations.
It's tough. It's very tough to be at the top of this game.
We still have 5 businessmen in this tournament battling against these pros, but there's one in particular, Aaron Zhang, that's been holding steady with a comfortable chip stack. Let's see if he can hang on.
Our gladiators have re-entered our Coliseum. And 2 tables remain here as we close in on the money bubble. Non-pro Aaron Zhang has the biggest stack from that side. And of course, Vivek Rajkumar, the overall leader, representing the biggest stack from the pro side with 3.8 plus the average at present.
Yeah, the good news is these types of gladiators, you know, they're not risking their actual life, just £1 million. No big deal.
It is interesting, though, because many of these players are accustomed to winning and losing millions of dollars, but perhaps more so in cash games, like Aaron Zhang, who plays often in Asia for the highest of stakes, but may not have the experience on the tournament side.
Yeah, no question about it. As the tournament progresses and the blinds continue to rise, the stacks get shorter, sort of cash game skills become less important. Tournament skills, understanding how to maneuver on those short stacks, become incredibly important, and the experts in the tournament world should certainly have an advantage at that stage.
The point at which we expect the cream to potentially rise. And here, Aaron Zhang, raise and take it from the button. Hazardous for your health, picking on Bryn Kenny's big.
Queen 9-5.
Aaron Zhang certainly has a stack to do it. Expect him to open a lot of pots in late position. Here we go again. Queen 8 of spades this time from the cutoff.
And I love the way Zhang announces the min raise. He calls it a mini raise.
Mini raise.
To 160K.
Oh, how cute.
Well, it ain't cute when you're sitting in the blinds
yeah,
and you're
right?
thinking, enough of this guy.
It looks like this one could get through too. You know, Vogelsang certainly likes to defend his blind. It is a min raise, but on that stack, Jack 5 offsuit, I mean, not quite good enough. So back to back, Aaron Zhang with just a min raise, is able to pick up some blinds and antes.
Every little bit counts. And do you anticipate that the pros are going to tense up as we close in on this massive money bubble?
Well, I anticipate that they're going to play it as close to flawlessly as possible. It's a scenario that the pros have studied using ICM considerations, knowing that you have to vastly change the hands you're willing to play when you're risking that min cash, which is over £1 million.
Aaron Zhang heating up. Here he is with ace king, another mini raise.
Yeah, it's the Aaron Zhang show. Raise and take it, raise and take it. Will he get another one through? It looks like it. Can't imagine Chidwick's going to defend the 8-4 offsuit, and that's 3 in a row.
Officially speeding.
He's on fire.
And we take a look at the current chip counts. Over 5 million separating Vivek and Aaron Zhang. And we do still have a couple of pairings left in these top 14. Big Al invited Chidwick. Bill Perkins invited Dan Smith. And you may note that they're not playing at the same table with one another. That's because by rule, you cannot be seated with someone that you invited, unless, of course, you're both at the final table, in which case there's no way around it.
Yeah, you know, that makes a lot of sense. It's assumed that the pros that were invited likely gave up a little piece, a little sweat, a little action to the businessmen who invited them. So keeping them at separate tables helps protect the integrity of the tournament mostly.
I was available, actually, for the event, Daniel, and I was staring at my phone deep.
I tried to invite you, but I didn't qualify as a businessman.
Oh, is that what happened?
Yeah. You could have been the businessman with all your ventures.
Then you would have had to put me in.
Well, hey. That's the problem, right?
Speaking of problems, Aaron Zhang has just ace-queen on the 6-5 deuce board behind Chidwick's 2 9s. And it's going to be a little tougher to win this one as Steven bets 150. Ooh, and Zhang is going to give it a shot, though.
Yeah, if you're Chidwick with the 2 9s, sure you have an overpair, but you don't like the fact that you've been check raised here. You know, you could be up against a bigger pair, or even, you know, Zhang with a little set of 5s or 6s. It's too strong a hand to just fold to a check raise, but you want to tread cautiously. Both these players with big stacks.
Zhang did min raise before the flop. Chidwick flatted. The check raise is worrisome. 4 to a straight on the board now, and again Zhang checks.
Well, just because Zhang checks doesn't mean all of a sudden your 9s are good. I would imagine Chidwick would want to proceed cautiously, as he does with the check back on the turn.
King on the end.
King misses Zhang just in between the ace-queen. He's going to check and hope that ace-queen has some value, but I don't think he likes his chances to win this pot. It's more of a white flag situation where he says, yeah, I can't win with ace-high, can I?
And Chidwick does not opt to value bet on the end there.
Yeah, no, absolutely agree. For Chidwick to shut down there makes complete sense, especially at this stage of the event.
The bubble's quite a bit away. I've been thinking about it and how to get there without also being too much of a nit, you know, and seeing what the stacks are, what my stack is, and, you know, what are the odds of me make it given my stack. And really, I just don't want to get coolered.
Well, sometimes it's not up to you whether or not you get coolered. Petrangelo with a couple of jacks opens to 200,000. Ace-10 suited for Vivek now.
Well, this is a hand for Vivek that he's always going to play for either a flat or a 3-bet. You could argue that's an option. He elects to play careful on that massive stack, 11 million in chips. Wow.
Great price for a couple of 7s in the big, and Webster comes along. 3 players to the flop, 750 in the middle, 2 diamonds and 2 deuces, 8 high.
Big flop for Vivek, 2 overcards and a flush draw. You know, Petrangelo's got to like it. He's got jacks. Chinwei Lim, you know, he can be convinced that 7s are still good. Petrangelo going to protect those jacks with a continuation bet of 250,000. Vivek could use that stack to leverage with a raise and gamble up. He could flat. A lot of options. It's always nice to have a lot of chips because it opens up so many more things that you can do. And here he is coming with the raise heavy with 650. Should be an easy fold for Chinwei Lim now after seeing all that aggression. But for Petrangelo, he's got to think to himself, what am I behind? Aces, kings, queens, sure. Pocket 8s, ace-deuce suited. I'm not folding. Let's go.
And sure enough, in sales over 2.5 million. And we've got an almost 5.8 million chip pot. King of diamonds on the turn, giving Raj Kumar the nut flush. Now Nicky P needs a jack or deuce, and instead it's a 6. And for Petrangelo, shades of the 2018 one-drop bubble as bitter disappointment hits him again.
And the rich get richer. Vivek, Rajkumar, look at that stack. Over 14 million in chips. All but a lock to at least make the money and a threat to win it all.
Vivek has just sent to the rail one of the favorites to take down this tournament, Nick Petrangelo. He now has the runaway chip lead. Who will be next on his hit list?
Certainly seems like Rajkumar's got the kind of stack that could really lean on the rest of the field, especially here closing in on the bubble. It is Chanwai Leong with 2 jacks, hoping that they'll work out better for him than they did for Petrangelo.
Well, 5.6 million in chips. An open to 250 with 2 jacks seems reasonable. Now Vogelsang in the big blind, 10-7 offsuit. It's my favorite hand. Don't judge me.
He's only got 665 and is willing to put in 250 of it.
Yeah, at this point, it's make or break. And look at that. I told you, 10-7's amazing. It's the best hand ever, and jacks always lose. These are just facts. Undeniable facts. 10-7 always wins. Jacks never win.
Write it down.
Yep. So go ahead and double up Christoph Vogelsang with those jacks.
Are you just jinxing him right now? You're riding the broom.
Well, I mean, it's just a fact. I've played enough poker to know that jacks have never won a hand, and 10-7, I can't remember ever flopping worse than 2 pair.
100K C-bet, and Vogel will flat.
He figures he might be so far ahead, no point in raising, let the player catch up, make a pair, something like that.
And that ace certainly could be a catch-up card.
Yeah, no question about it. It also could be an action killer, as it turns out, because, you know, now for Chan, he's looking at an overcard. Flopped an over pair. He says, screw it, let's just bet. Put it in, come on, let's go. I mean, there's really nothing to think about here, but Christoph is taking his time, being very deliberate. We are playing for lots and lots of money.
Well, Vogelsang's not known for his expedient pace of play.
Certainly not.
And he does get the extra 15K in there, moving all in, and a little stressful taking the river, but the 10s and 7s hold, and down go the jacks. Much needed double for the German.
And again, jacks go down, obviously.
I think a lot of people at home watch that bubble period in a million buy-in tournament. Maybe there's 13 players left and 12 make the money, and you know only the next player knocked out goes home empty-handed.
Going out in the bubble is the worst thing in poker because you lose money instead of making money. The 12th place finisher is going to get $0, so 11th place finisher is going to get £1 million plus, and everyone's going to be holding their breath for the whole time the bubble lasts.
The first instinct is to play super cautious, you know. Make it so there's absolutely no chance you get knocked out.
The big stacks have the opportunity to put pressure on the smaller stacks or the medium stacks and just accumulate more chips while everyone else tries to get into the money.
But in some of these high rollers, what you want to pay attention to is how top-heavy the payout is. If 50% of the prize pool goes to first place, then you should think a lot less about the bubble. And a lot of people have trouble doing that when it's $1 million for the min cash, maybe $2 million for the min cash. But if it's $20 million for first place, then you really have to try 10 times as hard to win first place. And I think a lot of people forget that when they're new to playing high stakes tournaments.
Yeah, lots of different ways to approach the bubble.
Yeah, unbelievable.
I prefer with a huge stack.
Well, it's, yeah, certainly a lot more fun.
It's my favorite approach.
You can get in there and dance, as we've seen Aaron Zhang using his stack to leverage his opponents. A lot of the players in the shorter stack having to tighten up their ranges, hoping to squeak in and then gamble up and make a run for that top spot of 19 million pounds.
Over the years, though, Daniel, you and I have borne witness to some epic collapses from those big stacks on the bubbles, applying perhaps too much pressure and being unwilling to shift gears and slow down.
Yeah, you can certainly take it too far in either direction. Spot here for Vogelsang in the small blind with ace-jack on 1.6 million.
Fresh off of a double up.
All in.
And he moves all in, which is music to Chidwick's ears. Now, Steven can be playing for a side pot with Timothy Adams. How is he going to approach the queens?
Well, once Chidwick comes, Adams knows against a raise and a cold call like that. King Jack of Hearts is in bad shape, so easy fold there.
Yeah, Steven would prefer to just play heads up, not have to navigate out of position against Adams by flatting and potentially letting Timothy in there. He's looking good on the Jack 9-4 board. Vogel does have some outs. The 4 is not one of them. Ace or Jack on the end, not there.
Okay.
Auf Wiedersehen, Herr Vogel.
Another crusher going down in flames with an ace-jack. Chidwick stacking chips.
We started with 54 players and we are now approaching the money, which means our 1.1 million pound bubble is about to burst. And when it does, it's going to be one hell of a bang.
I've cracked open a few piñatas in my day, but there's never been 1.1 million on the back end of it. This is huge.
Absolutely, and when you think about it, obviously the buy-in, it's basically getting your buy-in back, but it's still £1 million, which is something that everyone's going to covet and try to not do anything too stupid on the bubble where they become that, you know, the bubble boy.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to be the bubble boy.
8-7-4, and who wants to be ace high? Nobody.
Right now, Chidwick in command of this hand with top pair, king kicker. He's going to lead right out, and you would expect at least a call from ace 5. Ace high could be good. You do have the inside straight draw. Facing a 300K bet.
Chidwick did raise this one up pre from the small, and blind versus blind. We will take another card as another 600,000 slides into the middle and the board pairs.
Chidwick going to keep the lead and bet.
Not concerned about Leong's flat and potentially a 7 in his range. And now,
Whoa.
certainly not concerned as he makes 8s full of 7s.
That one's hidden too. So Chidwick's hand here, it's unlikely he has an 8. If you have ace high, you have 8s and 7s with an ace, that seems pretty good. You can beat a hand like 9-10 suited or Jack-9 suited or a whole bunch of other spots that Chidwick could be bluffing with. So despite just having ace high, this is no easy decision. He's going to make a good laydown here. Giving Chidwick credit for having a full house or some kind of an overpair. Not an easy fold. I mean, it seems like, oh, ace high, but no, not easy. Under the gun with king 3 offsuit. Vivek Rajkumar. Now, this is exactly what we're discussing here. When you have a big stack like Vivek does, you can essentially raise with any 2 cards because you know your opponents on shorter stacks are forced to only play a very conservative part of their range.
And is Queen 10 suited a part of that range? Apparently it is.
Just can't help yourself, huh, Porky? Gotta speculate.
Only in the market. Only in the market.
Well, it's a good flop for Perkins.
Right in the window, top pair for Bill. Checks it over to Vivek.
I mean, Vivek is going to definitely bet here, force Perkins to sort of have something with this continuation bet. Perkins does. He has enough to continue on the turn, but he's worried, I promise you. You know, he knows he can't get away from top pair, but he's nervous just sitting on 2.4 million.
Check call and an ace on the turn, giving both players Broadway draws.
Once again, because of the situation nearing the bubble, Vivek can apply pressure, bet, represent that ace.
Out comes the Warhammer.
Force Perkins to fold a queen or a jack. 500K. Perkins only on 2.2 million back. Represents close to a quarter of his stack at this crucial point where every chip matters, and just pains him to do it, but he's going to throw it away. So aggression pays. This is how you play a big stack on the bubble.
And for a man who mostly plays cash games these days, Rajkumar
Just ask somebody. I'll tell you in 30 minutes.
showing his tournament chops.
I just showed you. I just saw that.
I don't mind losing some small ones. I don't want to lose any big ones, and hopefully I can chip up and just coast into the money and then open up the game a little bit.
I'll tell you what, Rajkumar shows a few bluffs. He might get this game nice and open.
Yeah, no question about it. And you know, you heard Bill Perkins there. He really wants to make the money here. He's hanging on.
It's not about the money, though, for a guy like Bill, who's from the non-pro side. It's more about demonstrating that he's able to come in and play for the highest of stakes with the best in the world and emerge on the right side of that bubble.
There is pride on the line, and it would certainly be a moment that Perkins can be proud of if he's able to squeak in to the money.
Well, Rajkumar's got a good resume of being able to get queens out with king high. He's got a tougher customer this time, though.
Yeah, see, Big Al, you know, very different than Bill Perkins. I think he might not even know we're near the bubble. Just whatever, I'm playing poker. I got a pair, you're not getting me out of here. Come on, give me a break.
Al calls. To the turn we go, 1.2 million plus in the middle.
Now, notice the difference here. Vivek is out of position in this spot, so he elects to put on the brakes, check. Big Al checks back.
And he's not up against a blind either, Daniel. Al flatted from the button.
Yeah, so the ace on the river, once again, much like the last time where we saw Vivek bet the turn representing it, he's going for it one more time for 550K.
I call.
Well, Big Al sniffs this one out. He says, nah, you're not bullying me. You're not going to get me off this
What are
queen.
you trying to bluff me for?
It worked against Bill. Had to give it a shot.
It's true.
You're trying to bluff me?
That's going to cost you.
You know me too well, Al. You know me way too well.
That was a
Way
snap
too well.
call.
You could have thought about it for a second.
Yeah, I knew. I wasn't going to have you put me on tilt like you put Bill on tilt.
Al's just a station.
good
I
light
can't,
tilt.
I can't help it versus you. I just can't help it versus you.
He knows better, but he couldn't help himself.
I can't help it.
Bluffing that ace.
Here's $1 million.
Here's $1 million, Al. How do you think Rick's going to like that when he sees that? That's
Not gonna like
that's
it.
3 hands in a row you've contributed.
And look at this, Jack 3 offsuit. Vivek maybe not even looking at his cards. What's the point? He's going to apply maximum pressure every single hand,
1.5
force his
started
opponents to flop something.
Started with 1.9. Thanks.
Worked out well for him to this point. 6, 7, 8 advantage Kurganov in a very real way.
Vivek in raise, bet, bet, bet mode. Every pre-flop hand, every post-flop in position.
But these are realities that are not lost against top-shelf competition like Igor.
And Igor here with top pair, ace kicker against a, he knows Vivek is opening every hand, and he can have literally anything. So 8s with an ace is
Oh my goodness.
very strong, but
Not anymore, it's not. Jack on the turn, top pair for Raj Kumar. Is texture going to maybe slow him down? Not a shot.
I don't think he's on check mode. He's betting 500K, putting Kurganov to the test. This is what's so difficult about being on the bubble. Oh, and he just throws it away. Now, if Vivek had King Deuce there, he would have won that pot, but he happened to have the Jack. Shows the Jack as though, look, hey man, I ain't
Can't
bluffing
help
you.
myself.
I got you. I'm only playing the goods.
Insanely bad play.
And the bubble continues. 3 players with sub 20 big blinds. Vivek with a better than 2-to-1 chip lead over second. And Aaron Zhang sitting in third here in the small blind with King 5.
Yeah, and this is a spot here with 6 million where he can really push, making it 4 times the blind. Dan Smith can't really play here unless he's got a very strong hand, especially nearing the bubble. Oh my goodness!
Ace deuce considered strong enough and real risks being taken.
No question about it. A lot of players in this spot, if they're Dan Smith, they say, listen, I got this min cash locked up. I'm not going to get out of line. He's risking a third of his stack with ace deuce offsuit, recognizing that Aaron Zhang is going to open really wide, and he gets it through. So a smallish pot, but a really important one for Dan Smith's stack in this stage to show that risk. Man, gutsy. He's here to play. He's not settling for 1 million. He wants the whole enchilada.
Nom, nom, nom. Button now on Zhang. Timothy Adams with a couple of 5s. You can just open muck it.
Wow, see, now that is a player who's adjusting to the situation and playing ICM poker, if you will, trying to make sure that he squeaks in the money before opening it up.
Well, these are 1.1 million pound decisions for these short stacks.
A lot of players would have just jammed their stack in. Adams mucks it.
Reason take it for Zhang there. Now at the other table where Igor Kurganov looks down at 2 10s with 1.3 million in front of him.
Yeah, 13 big blinds, 2 10s, normally a very easy decision. But on this bubble,
3 million.
you might consider laying it down. He's going to go for it, as you'd expect, showing a lot of heart. Oh boy.
Problems for the 2 10s. Perky is woken up with 2 jacks. And he's going to move all in as well.
Well, Igor Kurganov knows that Perkins is not messing around with this call. So despite having a solid hand like 10s, you don't love hearing that snap call from Perky.
I feel really worried. You look very happy. You have the stronger range here, then I'm not that happy.
Well, how do you feel now?
What do you have? 10s.
Even worse.
Oh, wow. Wow.
Perky's so happy.
Bill.
And nervous.
He's the man at risk.
I have jacks, he has 10s. Reg has 10% free roll of me. Really? So sad, yeah. I'll give him 10% free roll to me. No, you can't do that. That's Why can't I? That's a lot. Take 1%. Jeez, whoa.
Igor's girlfriend Liv looking on.
I would love 1% free roll.
Okay, 1%.
If you win it.
All right, 1%. Reg has 1%.
And Perky pledging 1% of his winnings to Igor's charity. Rec, as you see his camp, girlfriend
Wait,
Laura,
who's that?
Jeff Gross.
Oh, I am.
Everyone crowding around the table. Moment of the tournament.
Far and away, and it comes King Jack 5,
got
set
runner.
for Bill Perkins, but not out of the woods as some backdoor options for Kurganov.
Hey, I don't like you praying over there. I just want to let you know right now.
Yeah, backdoor
No
straight and flush draw.
3 diamonds.
You can do a queen of spades.
3 diamonds.
Wow. Oh boy.
9 of spades, the sweatiest card in the deck.
Stop praying over there. Stop it.
All of a sudden, Kurganov up to 25%. He's got a chance.
Stop it.
Will Igor hit and burst the bubble? No. A double for Perky. And Kurganov down to vapors.
Double up. Wow. You still got chips. The bubble's not burst.
Everyone well aware of the fact that Kurganov has just 170,000 left. So presumably, Daniel, these ranges are going to be extra ultra narrow?
Well, at this point, you'd feel a little foolish going out on the bubble when Igor's sitting there on the nub and you don't wait him out. Changes dynamic significantly.
Chidwick rolling his dice with King Queen. 2 black 6s for Smith, and he's going to tussle.
Well, neither of these two players are what we'd call short stacks. Both are relatively deep at this stage of the tournament.
Good texture for Dan's 6s as he checks the best hand.
You know, still a tough spot for 6s out of position against an aggressive player on the bubble.
If 2 players bust in the same hand at opposite tables, is it split? But okay. And I get 25 seconds.
I don't think you get to pause the clock to clarify something that you should
Okay,
already
I
know.
never even got the 25 seconds, but sure.
Okay.
You never reset the clock, but it's cool.
Okay, I'm just saying, like...
Sure.
Controversy there over whether or not Dan should have his clock reset. Often when you're asking for a chip count, they will reset the clock or pause it, but not for a, question in terms of the bubble split. Applying pressures, Chidwick, as you'd expect, with the bigger stack. A tough spot for Dan Smith. He's gonna have to lay down the 6s.
And he gets shown, I think, the king there by Chidwick.
Yeah, not all that relevant card, but okay.
And an all-in and a call predictably as Kurganov down to nothing at all. 7-4 offsuit in the big blind.
So like this, right? I'm gonna do it.
He doesn't even know what he's got yet.
Wow. That's a good one. 8 of diamonds. Can we see a board first? Can we see a flop?
He's hoping for an overcard or a pair. Ah, he sees the bad news.
1 over is good.
Kurganov at 29% to win this flip.
The high card on a paired board as well.
Can he get lucky against Vivek's 6s? He does flop a gut shot straight draw, but needs a 6.
Or a 7, so added outs. Not the worst flop in the world. Still live.
I win like 25% of the time. I'll just take back this.
He's confident.
It's a very bad card. I couldn't be standing more, right? Wait, can I look at the other cards? Can we do it one time, just like burn cards first?
The answer is no, and the 3 of clubs means the bubble has burst here in the Triton Million. Big round of applause for Igor Kurganov. Someone has to be the bubble, and today, sir, it's you.
A sigh of relief from some of the other players on shorter stacks. Guaranteed to get at least their money back with a little bit of gravy.
I made it. Okay, man.
Good sport as always, Igor Kurganov.
No doubt about it. As you get a look at the payouts now, 1.1 million pounds locked up, but still 19 million in everyone's sights.
So most often you bust out in a tournament, but I actually got to be so lucky to run deep in this event. And at 12 left, the direct bubble, I got it in against my friend Bill Perkins. And not only did I want to win for myself because I'm now so close to the final table, but also the 10% that an effective charity would have received was huge. So it was a pretty big disappointment to lose. But the silver lining, and it's a big one, was that Bill decided to donate a chunk of his own action to a charity in case that he wins the hand against me, which he did, and ended up donating.
Philanthropy, such a big part of the high-stakes poker community. Dan Smith has raised over $13 million through his double-up drive. Bill Perkins donating that 1%, Igor and Liv creating that charity.
Yeah, no question about it. Poker is a great way to raise money for charity. And if you're a poker player, you know, one of the things you do is you're taking money. And what do you give back? This is an opportunity to give back to something that's near and dear to your heart.
2 threes, near and dear enough to the button for an open to 275K.
Well, with no more ICM considerations, really, you expect the action to open up. Bryn Kenny with an ace-10, more than good enough to jam. Smith going to make the call, so we've got a classic confrontation of a pair versus 2 overcards.
Ever so slightly in favor of the threes until the 10 high flop comes off, and now big advantage for Bryn Kenny. Dan Smith left 3 hunting.
Overkill with aces and 10s now.
Seems a little overkill.
Yeah, took the words right out of my mouth.
8 on the end, no help to Smith, and Bryn Kenny will double through him.
Still alive to win that $19 million and take #1 spot on the all-time money list.
1-5, 1-6, 85.
Now Kenny with queen 10 offsuit in the cutoff.
All of a sudden with some dancing chips over $3 million. It's important when you're a tournament player to adjust to the new scenario that you're in. He's no longer all that short. Can apply some pressure with queen 10 off in late position.
Timothy Adams in the big with king 8 will defend. To the flop we head. Queen in the window, followed by another queen and a 10. And Bryn Kenny's got the world.
Yeah, that's what we call a favorable flop for Bryn Kenny. Unfortunately for him, you know, Timothy Adams just doesn't have any of it. He's going to check and let him catch up. And he did good to do that, because now all of a sudden Adams has an open-ended straight draw. He may elect to stab at it, pouncing on weakness, but nope, he checks. Now time to try to extract some value. Bryn Kenny has a lock on this hand.
Why not check again?
I mean, you could, absolutely. He's hoping to, you know, force a draw to pay a little something, but he says no. Timothy folds the open-ended straight draw. He was drawn dead, so good fold.
One of the cool things about Bryn Kenny is that he wears his heart on his sleeve. He's talking about it on the table. He's not hiding about how important this is for him. He's telling people that this is the biggest piece he's ever had of himself in a tournament, that, you know, he's really going for the glory. I mean, he said, I will not stop until I'm #1 on the all-time money list, and when I get there, nobody will ever be able to catch me. And I mean, that's just so awesome. I think that Bryn is a rare character that we see in the world. It's like an old-school poker pro that, you know, plays street poker, doesn't mind playing exploitative and getting out there and exposing himself, and still, you know, being one of the biggest crushers.
Yeah, no question about it. Bryn Kenny, a throwback to the old school gambler. He's got a lot of heart, a lot of gamble. Jumped into this event, as Lex said, with the biggest piece he's ever had. Feels confident.
Chidwick feeling confident with ace-8 suited in the hijack, up to 250, he says. And now on the button, Tim Adams with king-jack. Let's go.
Yeah, earlier we saw Timothy Adams fold 2 5s on the bubble. Now that the bubble's burst, it's go time. Time to push the envelope, pick up some pots, win some flips.
And Chidwick was well aware of the possibility that Adams on his stack would be moving in, prepared for it. He makes the call, and to the flop he will head with the 20% edge. 3-2 favorite, king 10-4. Now Adams well in front. Spade. But another spade on the turn, danger zone. Clean on the end, and king jack will hang on. Boy, the look on Adams' face, you wouldn't realize he was all in for his tournament live.
He looked stressed to me.
Webster never looks stressed. He looks like he's ready to hit the club at all times.
The club, huh?
Come on. That hair? For sure.
So a limp with 8-4 of spades from Chinwei Lim.
In the small blind. Perky checks back. 10 Jack Queen, 2 diamonds. Advantage Perky with middle pair.
Chinwei Lim on the short stack himself. 10, 11 big blinds. He's going to give up on this one, it looks like. Completely whiffed on this flop. Perky's flop middle pair.
Now 4 to a straight on the board.
Chin has nothing, Chinwei Lim's, but he's going to decide to just bet it here, hope that Perky's missed, and steals this very important pot for a stack size sitting just at about 10 or 11 bigs.
Just a terrible board. 4 to a straight, 3 diamonds.
Perky says, I'll move on.
Bluffy, but whatever.
Just take it.
Whatever, bro.
Whatever, bro.
Whatever, bro. Whatever, bro. Bro, do you even bluff, bro?
Yes, yes he does.
The answer to that is yes, absolutely.
Now Winford Yu finds an ace in the cutoff. And we'll sail the rest of his chips in there. 600K total. Will there be any customers? Ace 8 into the muck, and
common after the bubble bursts to see a lot of all-in and calls.
With Queen Deuce, Vivek will spin the wheel.
Jack 10.
Looking for some sweat, courtesy of a gut shot, and instead binks the queen. While he's chuckling, not the same story for Winford Yu, who could only hit an ace. And instead, he becomes another casualty on the inside of the bubble.
Wow.
Now Aaron Zhang, one of the other boss stacks, going to work on the button. He's got Queen 7 suited, and now over to Chidwick with Ace 7 off in the big.
The Ace 7 dominating the Queen 7. Chidwick surely is going to defend this big blind with either a call or a 3-bet.
Just flats. Queen 8-4. Top pair for Zhang, who hits the side card.
A quick check back there from Zhang. Slow playing the queen. He slow played himself into a loser as Chidwick hit the only card he could win with, which was an ace. Goes check, check again. Well, both players way under-repped in terms of the strength of their hand right now. I'm sure Chidwick's been in this spot before and knows exactly how much to bet. Pretty good size. A quick call from Zhang. He's going to see the bad news. Ace on the turn. Got him.
Now Webster will sail in his 1.65 with a couple of nickels.
Call.
And ace-king for Kenny. Wakes up with a monster.
Crucial pot for both players here. Wow! What a flop, Kenny. Nuts straight.
He's got the backdoor hearts covered. Got to be a 5 or a pair on board for Webster to draw live, and there is a 10.
Yeah, needs a 10 or a 5 now. Make a full house.
Instead, it's a jack. And Chinwei Lim eliminated.
Well, don't look now, but all of a sudden, Bryn Kenny up to 5.5 million in chips.
Danger. Chinwei Liang with an ace deuce will attack the big blind of Timothy Adams.
Well, we've seen Timothy Adams play pretty conservatively on the bubble, but now with an ace 9 against a small blind, seems like it's too good a hand to let go of.
All he has to do is click call and be dominant and favored.
Well, he's going to make the call correctly. Ace 9 against ace deuce.
But a wheel draw for Chinwei Liang means the sailing will not be so smooth for the ace 9, as Liang can hit a deuce or a tray. Turn card is a 6. Same story. Is it there? No. Timothy Adams eliminates Chinwei Liang, and we are down to our final table of 8.
And a final table that is star-studded. Plenty of top players in the world vying for £19 million first prize.
So, I mean, that's what I always say. In tournaments, like, you never count yourself out. You could be last in chips, you win 2 hands, now all of a sudden you're in third. Now all of a sudden you win 1 more all-in and you're in first. So, I mean, Tournaments are all about endurance and just playing strong, keeping it together when things like go bad, and just being able to like ride the roller coaster and take it.
I had a really big stack at one point today, and I lost a few pots. When the money is this big, you certainly feel it, but I think I mostly did a good job of maintaining my composure and playing my game, and was lucky enough to make it through.
Yeah, the all-time money list like now is in my sight in this tournament, of course. Like, I mean, I always told everyone I'm going to hit number one, which of course I'm going to hit number one. The thing is, just like you have to mask your mind into thinking this is just like a normal day in a normal tournament. I can't really think about that. All I could think about is just like playing my game tomorrow, playing like A+ hopefully, and just see what happens. Control what you can control, and just happy to be here.
Pretty exciting, you know, like I don't really play tournaments. I play maybe once a year. This is the biggest one of all time. Maybe it hasn't quite like hit me yet, but it's, you know, obviously still have like a long day tomorrow, but I'm pretty thrilled.
Against all odds, I just made the final table, and I'm effing excited, but I'm also effing tired. It's a lot of work grinding, a lot of puzzles to solve to get here, but we go into the final table, baby! Yeah.